And Hatch currently lives in Atlanta. Now, he faces a maximum of 15 years behind bars. His defense attorney did not disclose any parts of the plea agreement or any details about it, but the judge made it very clear today, regardless of what's in that plea agreement, it is the sentencing judge who will have the final say. So the sentencing hearing is set for November 21st, which is just days after Hatch's birthday.
They said Boosie Badazz walked out of that courthouse a free man. But the streets are saying he left with a target on his back and a price on his head. The cameras caught him smiling, thanking God, shaking hands like a man reborn. But outside those marble doors, the whispers were already flying faster than the ink could dry on his paperwork. Because while the judge was handing down community service, the rap world was already whispering about the one thing that could get him taken out faster than any rival crew, allegations that Boosie flipped. No one wanted to believe it. Boosie? The man who built his career on being too real to fold? But then again, that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. And if the rumors are true, Boosie didn't just snitch. He snitched on his own.
Be up to the judge, You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact that Boosie being a convicted felon, I think. But I heard that he wasn't even really no convicted felon, no serious felony. You know what I'm saying? He got like a little thing, but I don't know how much that gonna play in his sentencing. You know, it's up to the federal judge, bruh.
The courtroom looked like a movie. Boosie in that clean gray suit, cool as ever, nodding while the judge said, "Time served." No prison, no cuffs, just 3 years of supervision and a few hundred hours of community service. To the cameras, it looked like redemption, a man turning the page. But to those who know how the system works, something about it felt off. Federal probation officials had wanted 46 months. The prosecutors asked for 2 years. And somehow, he walked out with none of it, just a slap on the wrist and a promise to mentor the youth. Since when do the feds show mercy to a felon with DNA on 2 loaded handguns? Especially when they had the video, the helicopter chase, the firearms traced back to his girlfriend in Georgia. It looked too clean, too easy. Like someone somewhere made a trade. We all remember the footage. Boosie on Instagram Live, gun tucked in his waistband, laughing with a known street figure in San Diego.
All right, on to a little more serious news here. A well-known rapper with a big following on social media could be headed back to prison after he pleaded guilty to a gun charge in federal court today.
Boosie was arrested during a traffic stop here in San Diego.
A few hours later, a police helicopter tracking his car, officers pulling him over, finding not 1, but 2 pistols. That was in 2023. The Glock, the Hellcat, both with his DNA, both registered to someone else. The kind of open and shut case that usually ends with another headline and another sentence. But instead, the charges bounced around for a year, dismissed, refiled, reshaped, until he took a plea last August. "Just accepted a plea from the federal government," he wrote. "God don't make mistakes." And that's when people started asking the question no one wanted to say out loud. Whose mistake did God fix this time? By the time the plea deal went through, insiders were already whispering that the feds had gotten something in return. No one could say what exactly, and that's the point. The silence is what makes the rumor dangerous.
Like I told you, if God want me free, gonna keep me free. If he not, gonna send my jail. That'd be calm. That's all that be.
Well, I mean, you've done it before.
Yeah.
Because in the rap world, you can have a record, you can have enemies, you can even have a federal case, but you can't have the word snitch attached to your name. And lately, that word's been echoing through every corner of the internet like a bad beat. Charleston White, the man who seems to breathe chaos, was the first to stir the pot. He's been clowning Boosie for months, ever since that plea went through, calling him out, laughing that he saw it coming. And when Boosie's own son, Tootie Raw, got caught up in his own little mess in Atlanta, Charleston didn't just comment, he bragged. "I got him arrested," he said, and somehow, that felt like more than trolling. It felt like he knew something. Boosie brushed it off at first, staying quiet, posting clips about blessings and second chances. "I'm blessed not to be in prison right now," he said in one video. But the more he preached, the more the internet twisted it.
We ultimately don't know what the judge will do, but from what I understand, there is a pretty good chance of you getting probation or just a couple months, considering the time served and so forth.
I don't know. It's up to the judge to give me credit for my anger monitor.
Exactly.
It's up to the judge to give me credit for my anger monitor.
Funny how God's plan always seems to involve plea deals and dismissed charges. People started connecting dots that maybe weren't there, or maybe were. The fact that the feds wanted him locked up, the judge let him go, and the same week the rumors about him cooperating started spreading through back channels. One post on X said it flat out. Boosie ain't beat the feds. He fed the feds. It was supposed to be a joke. Then someone screenshotted it, and it started trending. That's how fast this kind of story catches fire. And the strange thing? The ones who usually rush to defend him, the rappers, the collaborators, the podcast guests, they've gone quiet. Real quiet. No congratulations from the usual suspects.
You know, he just going at all kind of about my son, all kind of, you know.
Yeah, I remember Charleston when I said that I'm not rocking with him anymore. He made a YouTube video said, I hope your baby's
No joint Instagram lives, no boozy back cosigns from the big names. It's almost eerie, like the industry doesn't know whether to celebrate or stay out of it. Because if there's even a chance that the rumors are real, one retweet could cost someone their credibility. Meanwhile, Boosie's online acting like none of it matters, promising new albums, new tours, new films, talking about gratitude, talking about moving on. But the energy feels off. Fans can feel it. You can see it in the comments. Why is everyone so quiet? Where's the love? Y'all scared to post Boosie now? The silence says more than a statement ever could. What makes it worse is that Boosie's freedom doesn't look free. He keeps saying he's blessed, but he can't leave the country. He's talking about needing a pardon, from Donald Trump no less, just to perform overseas. That's not a man who's fully cleared. That's a man who's still tethered to something. And people are noticing that too, especially when the timeline of his case doesn't add up. The dismissed indictment, the refiled charges, the plea that nobody's seen the full details of. Usually, federal plea agreements are public. This one? Redacted. People close to the case say there's sealed material in the docket. Sealed. That's the word that keeps showing up. And in this world, sealed means secret. Secret means leverage. And leverage means somebody gave somebody something. Charleston White's been pouring gasoline on it every chance he gets.
Content forever, long as Boosie in jail. I'm gonna make fun of his mama. I'm gonna make fun of his new girlfriend that just had the baby. They gonna have to go breastfeed the baby in the visitation room. They gonna have to pump the milk. Say Boosie, I got perfect attendance as a father. You done been to jail on Tootie, the Ivy little girl, whoever ever know you done went to jail on.
He's calling Boosie everything but loyal, telling his audience he's the reason real ones fall while he walks free. And for once, he's not getting dragged for it. Usually, when Charleston picks a fight, the culture pushes back. But now, the silence feels like agreement. Even the ones who hate him are watching his streams, waiting for the next name he drops. Because whether he's telling the truth or just stirring chaos, he's saying the things other people are too scared to say out loud. Boosie thought he was untouchable, Charleston sneered in one clip. Now look at him, free, but everybody looking at him sideways. It's cruel, but it's working. The man's living rent-free in Boosie's headlines. Meanwhile, Boosie's lawyer is out here playing PR, saying things like, he can move forward and be a positive influence. Positive for who? That line hit the internet like a bad joke. Because when you've built your brand on being street certified, nothing about mentoring youth feels organic. It feels like spin. The streets aren't buying it, even if the court did. And while Boosie's claiming he's got 3 films ready and 7 albums on deck, you can see it in his eyes during those interviews. He's defensive, jumpy, deflecting questions before they land.
Once I see a man go up there and say he gonna put your in prison, even if you threaten him or say something about him and he's got facts to where he's put people in prison, I can't take a chance of getting him.
The man who used to call out everybody else's business suddenly doesn't want to talk about his own, and that alone is making people suspicious. Insiders say the tension in Baton Rouge is thick right now. Some of the same faces who used to post his album covers are now quietly unfollowing. Club promoters are hesitating. Security details doubling up when he's in public. Not because he's famous, because he's controversial. There's talk of a bounty, though no one can confirm who started it. Some say rival artists. Some say the streets back home. Either way, the story's spreading faster than the facts, and that's how people get hurt. Every move he makes now feels like a gamble. One wrong city, one wrong club, one wrong night, and someone decides to test the rumor for real. Still, Boosie keeps pushing his God's plan narrative. On Instagram, he's smiling, announcing new show dates, hyping fans with 2026, we lit. He's selling hope, selling freedom, selling the comeback story. And maybe that's his only move left, to drown out the whispers with noise. But even his own words give away the cracks. Still not letting me go overseas, he said in one clip. Everybody calling for me across seas, but I'ma have to wait on a pardon. Wait on a pardon. That's not something innocent men usually say.
I am optimistic for Mr. Hatch. He, as he just explained, wanted nothing more than to accept responsibility and put this behind him. And now it's my job to make sure the court understands the scope of the case and what the case is really about. And more importantly, all of the amazing things that Mr. Hatch has done for the community, continues to do, and the amazing things that he will do going forward.
That's something people with unfinished business say. And here's the part that no one's saying out loud. This case might not be over. Federal supervision means they're still watching, still checking in, still listening. Boosie's freedom came with a leash, and the leash has a microphone attached. Every post, every live, every feature, documented, logged, reviewed. And if the rumors about cooperation have even a sliver of truth, then he's not just being watched, he's being used. The streets say once you start talking, you never stop. So now the question isn't whether Boosie flipped, it's whether he's still flipping. It's almost poetic in a dark way. The man who used to mock everyone else's downfall now trapped in his own redemption story. One that might not be real. He's walking around preaching gratitude while half the industry wonders what he traded to get there. He's building new projects, talking legacy, but legacy doesn't mean much when your credibility is under question. The silence from his peers is deafening. The fans are torn between loyalty and disbelief.
This kid, so many black people, he confessed. And he's gonna rot in prison from being 16 years old. He was a serial He was Lil Boosie's serial
And Charleston White. He's watching it all unfold like a puppet master, smirking while the internet does his work for him. And that's where we are tonight. A rapper free but not trusted, a rumor spreading like wildfire, and a whole culture deciding in real time whether one of its loudest voices just broke the only code that matters. Boosie says it's all God's plan. But if that's true, we can't help but wonder, whose prayers got answered? Positive for who? Because here's the thing about plea deals and snitches and rappers who suddenly can't leave the country. You don't get to fly to San Diego with 2 guns in your luggage, get caught on Instagram Live, and walk away with community service unless someone wanted you to walk. So who was Boosie protecting? Or, here's the scary part, who was he helping the feds get? The receipts are all there if you look close enough. 2 pistols purchased in Georgia by a woman connected to him, airline tickets bought in her name, and a flight to California where a helicopter just happened to be in the air when that Instagram Live started streaming. The feds said they were monitoring a known gang member's page, the same one Boosie was standing next to. The same moment the cameras caught that pistol tucked in his waistband. It's the kind of coincidence that smells like coordination. And if you've been in this game long enough, you know there are no coincidences when federal agents start showing up before the first post goes viral. The details never added up cleanly. The Glock 19, the Hellcat, both legally purchased in another state, checked through a flight, and found in a vehicle across the country.
That's right, and his legal name is Torrance Hatch. Now, a lot of times defendants don't really want to talk to us if they're still going through court proceedings, but he was fine with it. He says he accepts responsibility for what happened, and he's ready to move forward.
For a man with prior convictions, that's not a slip. It's a setup or a delivery. So what was really going down that weekend in San Diego? He said he was in town for a music video, but insiders point out that the same house listed as the video location is under investigation for gang activity. People who were there that night claim the atmosphere felt off, like something was about to go down, and maybe it did. Maybe Boosie wasn't the mark. Maybe he was the transport, the one who brought the goods to someone the authorities were already watching, which makes his light sentence feel less like mercy and more like a trade. The timing is what makes it suspicious. Within hours of that live, a police helicopter was circling. Within minutes, the car was stopped. The feds moved like they'd been tipped off in advance. How would they know exactly where he was going, what vehicle he was in, what route he'd take through a quiet suburban block? Someone in the chain was talking. And now that Boosie's out, the question isn't whether he's a snitch, it's who else might have been feeding the same pipeline. Because if he did talk, it wasn't about street beef or minor charges. It would have been about something bigger, something that made the feds willing to look away from DNA on 2 firearms and a laundry list of prior convictions. Now, we've all heard Charleston White's version of events.
T.I. and Boosie, homie, Boosie 9 black people. He murdered 9 black people. He his baby mama's brother, put a hit on him, and gave a nigga $2,800 times 9.
The man has made an entire second career out of calling rappers out for playing tough while cooperating behind the scenes. But with Boosie, his energy is different. Calm, calculated, almost gleeful. He's not just calling him fake, he's calling him finished. Charleston's been bragging about getting his son locked up, laughing that karma finally came home. But the way he says, Boosie, you in trouble, sounds less like taunting and more like warning. And maybe that's because Charleston's no stranger to courtroom cooperation himself. We've seen the footage of him testifying years ago, cool as ever. The same man who admits he works with law enforcement for community safety. The same man now obsessed with Boosie's downfall. Maybe he recognizes the signs because he's seen the paperwork. We watched that Vlad interview again, where Boosie shrugged off Charleston's words and said, I don't need no apology. That wasn't bravado. That was fatigue. You don't talk like that to a troll. You talk like that to someone who's got a file on you. Maybe Charleston's just running his mouth, or maybe he's seen something sealed that the rest of us haven't. Either way, the optics are ugly. The louder Charleston laughs, the quieter Boosie gets. And that's not the Boosie we know.
He actually got on the internet and said that. And he likes to say, well, I'm just playing a character. That's not me. or he was talking about raping babies and all types of other shit. I think he talked about raping Math Hoffa's daughter or something. Oh, I'm just playing a character.
The old Boosie would have gone live and set the internet on fire. This Boosie smiles, says he's grateful, then pivots to promoting a tour. It's the smile of a man who can't afford another fight. And speaking of tours, there's the Trump angle. The sudden talk about lobbying for a presidential pardon. Think about it. Why ask for that if you're already a free man? What's he trying to erase? Or more importantly, what's he trying to escape? The story he's selling is that he needs a pardon to perform overseas, but people close to him say that's only half true. There's paperwork behind the scenes that still classifies him as restricted. Restricted from travel, restricted from certain associations, restricted from leaving supervised territory without notice, which, in plain terms, means the federal government still has a leash around his neck.
But sometimes, man, you know, our past catch up with us, you know what I'm talking about? And we just gotta be prepared for however it come.
Yeah.
You know, of course, we want the best for us, you know what I'm saying? But I think he's prepared for however it gonna come. He accept his lick for however it gonna come. Of course, the prosecutor gonna want you to get whatever the maximum of what they can, you know what I'm saying? They wanna get that credit on their belt.
So when he says, I'm blessed, we can't help hearing, I'm boxed in. The irony is painful. Boosie made a career out of preaching loyalty, calling out anyone he thought betrayed the code. He was the guy who said real ones never fold. And now, the same crowd that used to scream free Boosie is whispering, Boosie's free because he flipped. Every week, another rumor surfaces about who he might have mentioned in those closed-door meetings. Some point to local promoters, others to industry figures tied to those Georgia gun purchases. There's even a thread claiming he handed over phone logs that linked multiple people to illegal flights. None of it's confirmed, but the fear is enough to keep everyone silent. Nobody wants to be the one to say his name until they know which side he's really on. And that's what makes Charleston White's continued attacks so strange.
Boosie going to jail! I knew they were gonna get him! Boy, I was mad. I'm not I was mad the motherfucker. Boosie going to jail, y'all. Boosie going to...
It's almost like he's forcing Boosie to respond, to confirm or deny something only a handful of people could know. Maybe he's testing him. Maybe he's working with someone else. We've seen Charleston pop up with politicians, law enforcement events, even youth programs where he talks about reform. Reform, not revenge. Yet here he is, gloating about a man's downfall, throwing around private details that no outsider should have. That doesn't happen by accident. Someone's feeding him crumbs and he's tossing them to the wolves just to watch the feeding frenzy. Meanwhile, Boosie's doing his best to drown out the noise. Dropping songs, teasing movies, talking about being a positive influence. But the way he says it feels rehearsed, almost like he's reading from his own sentencing memo. Every time he thanks the judge or mentions second chances, it sounds like he's reminding someone, not the fans, but the people who cut him that deal, that he's staying in line. It's the perfect disguise, a redemption arc wrapped in gratitude. But behind every smile, there's a flicker of panic. The more he posts, the more desperate it looks. You can't outrun a rumor that's moving faster than your music. The bounty talk is spreading too.
I knew he was going. I just wait. I couldn't wait to celebrate. Say, boy, I can't wait till Boosie go to jail. Say, boy, I'm gonna have me I'm gonna go live all day long when Boosie go to jail and let y'all request. I'm rubbing it in two.
No one can prove it, but that doesn't matter anymore. Once a whisper hits the internet, it becomes real through repetition. People claim it started in Baton Rouge, that certain circles are saying there's money on his head for confirmation. Some insist it's not even about revenge, it's about reputation. Because in this world, if you let one man break the code without consequence, the code ends. And if the streets decide Boosie crossed that line, no judge, no lawyer, no bodyguard can protect him from what comes next. This isn't a diss track feud. This is cultural execution. It's wild how fast loyalty flips when people smell fear. Rappers who used to brag about him in interviews are suddenly dodging his name. Labels that once called him authentic are pushing other artists. Even the podcasts that live for controversy are treating this like a hot stove, too risky to touch. Everyone's acting like they don't know what's going on, but they do. The code's been broken, and no one wants the stain of standing next to the man accused of cracking it open. The same energy that made him famous, unfiltered, untouchable, is now isolating him. Every new,